Hello, this is Mr. Molo for lesson 10.6, quadrilaterals. And again, we're going to need to start with some vocab so that we know what we're talking about with some of these terms. So quadrilateral is a closed four-figure shape having four sides and four angles. So a very broad term for a shape. Parallelogram gets a little more specific. So parallelogram is a quadrilateral with opposite sides parallel and opposite sides congruent. So that means when you have a parallelogram that the two opposite sides are going to be parallel, which means they're never going to touch, and they're also going to have the same measurement. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral with one pair of parallel sides. All right, so a little different than parallelogram because only one of the sides are parallel. And then a rhombus is four sides, and they're all congruent. All right, so all these shapes, what do they have in common? Well, they're all quadrilaterals. So they all have four sides, four angles, and they're all closed shapes. That's just a very broad term for a four-sided shape. All right, and then we're going to get into some more specifics here. So we have some names here. So this is going to be a rectangle, and we know this is a square. All right, but then see, these are some of the new ones. So this is that parallelogram. So the two sides that are parallel and never going to touch. Here's my rhombus with my four sides that are all equilateral, but you see they're all kind of at a little bit of an angle, so that's what makes it different than a square. And then the trapezoid, so different from the parallelogram, where this top and bottom are going to be parallel from each other, but these two sides are not parallel from each other. If we were to continue drawing these lines, they would touch up here at the top. Alright, and here we have a parallelogram, so just some more examples. So quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel and equal in length. Alright, so remember this means that this is congruent. These little dash marks, we learned that a couple sections ago. And then these arrows means that they're parallel. So that means this line is parallel to this line since they both have one arrow. And this line is going to be parallel to this line since they both have two arrows. Here's a rectangle. So a rectangle is a parallelogram with four right angles. So you'll see that they're all 90 degrees. And then you'll see some congruent sides. So this side is congruent to this side. And this side is parallel to this side. And looking from left to right, these two sides are congruent. So if we were to measure them, they'd be exactly the same. And they're also parallel because they both have these two little arrows going down. So if we were to continue these lines, they would never touch. A rhombus is a parallelogram with all sides equal length. Okay, so this side and this side and this side and this side, all four equal length. That's why they all have one dash mark. And we do have some parallel sides here. So this top is parallel to the bottom with the one arrows, and the left is parallel to the right with the two arrows. We have a square, so this is the most specific you can get. So it has four sides that are 90-degree angles. All four sides are the same. They will all have one dash mark. And then again with the parallel sides, top and bottom are parallel, and left and right are parallel. We have a trapezoid, which is a quadrilateral with only one pair of parallel sides. So these two sides are going to be congruent. If we were to measure them, they'd be the same. And this top and this bottom are going to be parallel. If they were continuing on forever, they would never be touching. And here's some more pictures of what they might look like just in different spots. So those are all quadrilaterals. These are all built under parallelogram. This is the only way to look at a trapezoid. Rectangle, yes, a square is a rectangle. Square, it's the only way to have a square. And technically a square also could be a rhombus. The other part of today's homework is to figure out the missing angle. And we're pretty much just going to be using this formula right here. So n, which represents the number of sides, or number of corners as it has, minus 2 times 180. So if we're looking here, there's 4 vertices here, 4 corners. So I'd put in 4 for my n. 4 minus 2, which is 2. 2 times 180 is 360. So all four-sided shapes are going to have, the angles are going to add up to 360. So if I have it here, so I have one 90-degree angle, another 139-degree angle, 82.9-degree angle, Well, I know 360 minus all those means that this last angle is going to be 48.1. And then kind of the same thing here. I know it's 360 degrees total. So minus 157 minus 55 minus 48 is going to tell me that the missing angle is 100 degrees.